Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch, well, for the first time in days, the wind is almost non-existent today. I mean, there's just a slight breeze, but man, we have gone through some serious gusty, crazy winds. That's been part of the real danger around here, is how much wind has been blowing and causes things to blow around, trees coming down, limbs falling on power lines, starting fires, people letting their brush fires get out of control. It's been crazy for the last week or two, and a big part's been because of the wind. So it's nice to have a pretty calm day around here in the Ozarks. So I don't know if you guys, this has just come out today, so I don't know how many of you have seen this. I haven't dug too deep into it, but either there's some really dumb people in the White House administration, or there is some big, stinky, devious, deep game being played. And I know a lot of the kind of the more, MAGA supporters are going to say, oh, this is all part of the plan. It doesn't look like that. I mean, I know that that's still a possibility, but it doesn't look like that. So apparently, an Atlantic Journal reporter has shown screenshots and everything that he was accidentally, apparently, added to a text chat group with the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, a few other top level White House government officials. And they were talking about their plans to attack Yemen and how this was going to go and all this kind of stuff. And he just quietly sat there watching all of this chat going on, didn't say anything, didn't pipe up and say, hey, whoa, wait a minute. This looks like some pretty top secret classified stuff. And I think I have been wrongfully added to this chat group. No one noticed it. And so now he's released an article talking about it. It is a big black eye on the administration. The Congress is already saying that heads need to roll over this, that this is a huge violation of national security. There's a few questions that pop up in my mind. Number one is, why are these top level officials discussing very sensitive information about attacking someone on a public signal app? I know that Signal likes to say that they're super secure, but they're not. It's the one that, what's his name? There's been multiple reports of these Signal accounts getting hacked, that the government has backdoor access to them. It's ridiculous. That's where they're going to, talk about very classified, highly sensitive information is on these Signal apps, apparently. And then, of course, the fact that it's, no one seemed to check, I mean, if you're going to be talking about really classified stuff, you would think that you would make certain that only people that can see it are in that little chat. It's strange. But anyways, it looks pretty bad that they would make a mistake like this, very amateurish. You have to remember, a lot of these guys kind of are amateurs when it comes to this level of government, so we'll see. Hey folks, so something I forgot to mention when I made the full video, so I'm just going to add this in somewhere. I don't know where. It'll just get added in. Pretend like it's a little commercial, because that's kind of what it is. And I know we hate commercials, but YouTube's doing its thing. It's not just me, it's many other YouTubers that are complaining about they're just cutting everything. And this is actually a pretty good deal. I know that gold and silver is a big thing right now, and it's something you need to, if you don't have enough of it, if you don't have any of it, you need to get in before it just really goes off. And silver right now, I mean, it's been up around, it's been 35 and it's come down, 35, come down. It's still, I think, the better buy of the two. And there's a link down in the description in the comment section to moneymetals.com. They're running a pretty good price right now on Cull silver. Now, these are silver peace dollars, so it's U.S. minted money. U.S. minted money, not just a silver round. U.S. minted money. They're not in great condition. They're very uncirculated, or very circulated, kind of dinged up and stuff, but they're a whole coin. And you don't care about the condition, you're caring about the silver value. And you can get those coins for around $30 a piece. That's almost a 1 ounce. silver, U.S. minted. So it's going to be very recognized when everything collapses and we have to pull out our gold and silver to buy a loaf of bread. People are going to recognize U.S. minted money more so than they're going to recognize just a bar of silver or a silver round. They're going to want to test that. They're going to be unsure of that. But U.S. minted money, well, that's going to be accepted. And so click on the link below. I have used this company multiple times. Absolutely love them. Down in the description in the comment section below. All right, catch you later. A few other things going around out there that I don't know. I debated on even mentioning it in the video, and I don't think that I will. But you know, it's crazy. I think one of the things that 23andMe, I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a website business that you can send your DNA in, you know, spit in a cup thing, and they send it in, and they'll tell you, you know, what part of the world you're from, your ancestors and stuff. Well, they're going bankrupt, and they're selling the company. And so a lot of people are saying you need to get on your account and delete your information because who knows who's going to buy it. And now, you know, some company's going to have all of your DNA. That's not a bad idea. I'm not saying don't go do that. But I would say that all of your DNA information has already been taken by the people that want it. I've been opposed to these types of websites and businesses for a long time. Don't be sending people your DNA. It's not that important to know where your genetic roots are from. Because what you're doing is you're giving them access to your genetic makeup. And so, yeah, that's being sold, and who knows who's going to get all that information. But the big thing that I wanted to talk about is kind of continuing this morning's conversation, if you watched this morning's video, on how close we are getting to a war with Iran, because things just keep heating up every day. There's like something new going on. Mainstream media is reporting that 3 B-2 stealth bombers were scrambled out of Whiteman Air Force Base and was sent to the Indian Ocean. The Strait of Hormuz, which is that strait on the Iranian side that controls a lot of oil going in and out of Iraq and Iran and places like that. And it's always been the bottleneck point that Iran could cause some havoc when it comes to oil. Well, they're basically said they're going to shut it down, at least not allow American ships to go through or American naval ships. They claim the United States has seized an Iranian flagged oil freighter, and they are now releasing 250 attack boats. These are smaller attack boats into that strait so that they can patrol it and prevent the United States from coming in. Iran has also issued its ultimatum to the United States. You know, I said this morning, in the last couple of days, the United States has given Iran an ultimatum to come to the table within about a 2-month or less period to talk about nuclear bombs and all that kind of stuff, and to reduce their manufacturing of that, which Iran has announced that they're starting 2 new nuclear centrifuges or whatever. But anyways, Iran has fired back and said, you need to pull all of your ships out of our strait, or we will start attacking U.S. naval assets. And it seems as if they're trying to push more of that in. The question now with the B-2 bombers going into that area, are they going to start trying to use those against the Yemenis Houthis and possibly Iran? Remember, the B-2 bombers, while they can certainly distribute conventional warheads, they are most notably known for being able to distribute nuclear warheads. And so would the Trump administration go to that lengths? My gut says probably not, but who knows? Because who knows what type of action could happen, what type of false flag or something like that could be used as an excuse to do that. Also, it looks as if Israel is wanting to get back in the game against Iran. You know, they've been kind of quiet when it comes to Iran. They've been focusing on Hamas and Gaza. The United States seems to have tried to keep Israel out of this. Well, Israel now says that they are now looking into plans, the possible plans, to start an attack on Iran to try to take out their nuclear capabilities. Now, you know, it's been said now for what, at least a couple of years. We hear it in the news and stuff that Iran is 10 days away, 15 days away, 20 days away, 5 days away from building a nuclear weapon. And it doesn't mean that the first time you heard it, within 10, 15 days, they were going to have one. I think what that means is that if they wanted to push the button, that they're that far along that they could finish off, building a nuclear weapon within a few weeks. Maybe not a big one, I don't know. They do have, apparently, from what they say and the intel that you can find about Iran, they do have quite the arsenal of missiles, and many of those may be able to, put a nuclear warhead on, even if it's not really big. Even a small nuke landing on top of an aircraft carrier or very, very near an aircraft carrier could do a lot of damage and potentially sink it. So it would be devastating. Or a base, an American military base. They're all over the Middle East. I mean, they're everywhere. And so that's the big scare that's been for the last couple of years. Something I suspect is up that we're not getting the full picture, because just in the last couple of weeks, really, with this whole Iran deal, it's like it just came out of nowhere. I know that it's been going on for a while. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is that it seemed to quiet down. There was a lot of other things going on, Russia and Ukraine and domestically here and economic stuff and all this. And then all of a sudden, whether, you want to say it was the Trump administration or Iran or the Houthis in Yemen or someone else, it's like all of a sudden there's a major focus on Iran. And really just in the last couple of days, in the last few hours, there seems to be this frantic, rapid buildup. That doesn't necessarily mean a war is going to happen in the next hours, days, or weeks. But what it could mean is that one side or both sides is hoping to make it appear as that, so that the other side will blink and maybe back down. I know what would probably be the common thought is that Iran is going to be the one to back down. And they have at times in the past, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they will this time or at some point in the future. It's like there's a war. They want a war with Iran. The Biden administration wanted a war with Iran, and now the Trump administration wants a war with Iran. It doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. They both want Iran. They both sides, both parties have said that Iran is the biggest threat the world has. The biggest threat to the United States is Iran. And I think they're doing a very good job of selling that. And so when they're trying to sell that, that also, like I said, makes it pretty dangerous or likely or possible that there could be something happen over the next days or weeks that would implicate Iran in being the bad guy, more so than just them sending weapons to Yemen, because they've been doing that a long time, and sending stuff to Hamas. They've been doing that a long time. It's almost like something else might have to happen. So part of this is to be cautious and to be aware of that. It's most likely would happen overseas, not here in the United States, but that doesn't mean that it couldn't. Say another attempt on the president, or some type of attack here in the United States of some level that they could say, oh, this is Iran. This is Iran doing this, whether it's cyber, explosive attacks, grid attacks, whatever. This is Iran doing this. See, now we have to go after Iran. Remember weapons of mass destruction, Saddam Hussein and all that kind of stuff, 9/11. And I'm not saying another 9/11 event is in the works. I'm just saying that it wouldn't take much right now, I don't think, to give the United States and Israel the justification that it wants to say, all right, we're going all in. And so that puts things in a dangerous time. Now, if this happens, even if the war doesn't happen, if they really start to clamp down on this Strait of Hormuz or whatever, however it's pronounced, oil prices could easily go up. They have been going up for the last week or two. Not a lot. It's still low. I get that. But they're going up slowly. If more activity starts happening over there, you could start to see oil go up quite a bit. Now, there's a theory, because, you know, Russia is an ally of Iran, and looks like they're kind of sort of becoming an ally of the United States. But Russia has a lot to gain from oil prices going up. Well, Russia is a huge, huge oil dealer. And if oil prices go up because of something happening in the Middle East with Iran, Russia stands to benefit a lot from the oil prices, and then also from the sale of arms and stuff to Iran potentially. So maybe there's not a big incentive for Russia to intervene and stop this. I don't know. I do know that we need to keep getting ready, because these types of things are getting worse, and this specific thing could easily lead to a big world war. And we got to get ready. You know, it's different. Like I said, it's different than the Gulf War and all that kind of stuff, where it was just one guy that most everyone didn't like, you know, or one country like Afghanistan that no one cared about. I mean, that was the whole deal. You had Iraq with Saddam Hussein that most of the Muslim Middle Eastern world didn't really like, didn't care about. And then you had Afghanistan, and they didn't care anything about that one. But Iran's different. Iran is a Middle Eastern powerhouse, and a lot of Muslim nations will side with them. And then they've also have strong alliances with North Korea, China, and Russia. So if a big war happens with Iran, I think it'd be a very, very different thing than the previous Gulf-type wars, Middle Eastern wars that we've seen over the last few decades. So I think it would be smart to prepare for that. Get your houses in order, folks. Prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.